Hi guys, welcome to the FF Salon at Money 2020. My name is Emily Redding.
And hi, I'm Sarah Carver.
Hi Sarah.
Hi.
So nice to have you here. How are you doing?
Yeah, really good.
Good. You've already met Jose. I see. He's just getting
We're
in
best
there.
friends already.
We're best friends already. I feel we all are going to be best friends after the end of this conversation. I'm actually really excited about this. What's he doing for you today? What have you discussed?
I'm not sure. I've said he can go wild and do whatever he wants.
Fantastic. So a grade 1 buzz cut?
Yeah, I think that's best.
Here we go. Let's get started.
Now I'm worried.
Why don't we start off by you telling me a little bit about your job role and what you do?
Sure. So I'm the Chief Commercial Officer for Consulting for Delta Capita. We're a consultancy and managed services company completely focused on financial services, working lots of the Tier 1 and Tier 2 banks globally, all over the place.
Nice. And how did you get into that? What's your story?
It's an interesting one.
We like interesting, so go for it.
It's been a bit of a funny little route. So I started off in, actually my first ever dabble was in cryogenics, doing business process engineering.
Whoa.
As you do.
As you do.
I then somehow, if I'm honest, fell into financial services completely accidentally. I joined Accenture because I liked the idea of a career that was varied, because I get bored very, very easily. And so the idea of your job changing every 3-6 months was perfect for me, but not actually having to leave. So Accenture, spent a couple of years there, the stock exchange, Bank of America, lots of different clients. Went and lived in New York for a bit.
Ooh,
great fun.
Whereabouts did you live?
Right central.
Right
Where
central.
was I? I moved all over. I started off in a hotel overlooking Central Park, and then I wanted to get a proper little flat.
As nice as a hotel over Central Park is, I can
it's
imagine
not
if that's
actually
long.
that nice.
It's not.
It doesn't feel as special. People always think it's going to be so glamorous, and actually you want to just go and have
room.
I remember one day just having spaghetti with, it's disgusting, with butter and tomato ketchup. I was so bored of having kind of Michelin-starred meals.
Yes.
I just wanted some spaghetti and butter.
Yes, bit of beans on toast. All the glamour.
I know, all the glamour. And then I lived out there for a bit, always doing kind of change, transformation roles. And then I got back and I went and joined Capco, another financial services consultancy, a big group of us. Left Accenture and went kind of with a shared vision of doing something slightly smaller, bigger, growing a company. And I loved the growth bit.
Yeah.
I realised I really like small companies where you can get really stuck in.
Yes.
A bit of a control freak, so the ability to kind of stick my nose into every bit of a business is really appealing.
Yes.
And then, so I stayed there for a decade, and then got much more into the digital transformation space, but also ended up doing a real, sales role. Not sales in the way I deemed it to be when I was young, where heavy, aggressive, relatively masculine sales. I kind of worked out my own little technique, which was building actual real relationships and actually trying to help people.
Nice.
So when I joined DC, I had a kind of dual role, looking at digital and then looking at commercials and sales, and I kind of gone more and more into the commercial side because I love it.
That is great, and it's really interesting that you found that you had to kind of create your own little way within sales. Why was that when you started? Was that because you realised that the way things had already been done was just wasn't who you were and you wanted to be more authentic?
Yeah, I just think sales can be such a dirty word. Yes. And I find I train a lot of our team on sales, and I tell them that the first thing, just forget the word sales. It's not this thing where you're trying to, something untoward where you're trying to make a client do something they don't want to do, or you're literally trying to find a space where you can help someone. We work across all different areas of all different domains of financial services, all different types of topics. So on the whole, if we meet someone, whether it's a fintech or a tier 1 bank, we can probably help them. Even if it's not selling them something, we can probably connect them to someone who can help them.
Put them in the right direction.
And sometimes, again, it's not even about what we get out of it. It can just, it's nice to be nice, and it's nice to make connections. We've met lots of fintechs here, which, to be honest, we probably won't directly work with, but I think we can help some of them. And with no particular reason other than it's just nice being connected in the industry and helping people. And I think that definitely wasn't the version of sales I grew up with. It was very kind of, I don't know, what I saw in the industry was quite, as I say, male orientated, quite in some ways kind of car salesman-ish.
Yes.
So yeah, a friendlier, just more natural, authentic approach just works better for me.
So that's really, it's so refreshing to hear. How do you motivate your team, especially as well with kind of, like you say, there needs to be more women in fintech.
Yeah.
How are you navigating that in the leadership position that you have now?
Well, I guess part of that is just even by being there and being a female who works in sales, I think it helps in itself. But also being really honest, I'll say, I'm going to go and pick my children up from school. I won't block a meeting out in my diary and pretend I'm doing a client meeting. I'll go and be really authentic in the fact that I'm doing that, because I think that's really important, because otherwise I've had people say to me, I don't know how you do it all, and I'm like, no, it's really hard, and this is how I do it. And I think actually explaining that so it doesn't look like some kind of magic show or Hermione Granger style time twister. Like you need...
Loving the Harry Potter reference.
Love Harry Potter.
Oh my gosh, don't get me started.
If we can do a Harry Potter quiz at the end.
We can.
No, and I just think it's showing that, but also, and I think again, being kind of recognising that everyone's different. I have some people who are, and I'm a bit of an omnivore. Sometimes I'm incredibly extroverted, like last night, for example, at the bar. And sometimes
I've heard there was a limbo. I'm not saying anything.
It may have been started by me with my past.
I'm here for this.
And then sometimes I'm really introverted, and I think recognising, and I think that's actually really useful, that being a bit of a chameleon and being able to operate on both sides, because I think on your point around how you motivate a team, actually working out what they care about. So I'm super driven. I'm always looking at the next thing. Some people really aren't. They actually don't want to get constantly promoted, as an example. And so even recognising that and working out what drives them and what they care about, and taking a personal interest, knowing that they've got a dog called Jeff, and that they
and sometimes
like what's going on at home, and I think just caring.
That is really, really, really lovely to hear. And what would your advice be to somebody, or maybe a young woman who's watching this now and looking at you and looking at what you've done and thinks, I want to do that. I want to go and do that. Maybe some things to not do or don't do.
My not do is such a long list. When I was at a previous client, it was when I was at Accenture. There's a big team on the ground, and I suppose because I was one of the few women, I got a lot of comments not on the output and the work I did, but what I was wearing on a particular day, and I found myself, and I didn't even notice myself doing it until I was out with some personal friends for drinks one night around Paternoster Square, and they're like, why are you dressed in a tent? And I was wearing a black, it can only be described as a tent, and I think I'd gradually just become very un-me. I would only wear black, it would always be tense, and I was shrinking, and I was trying to be really formal, and I'm not formal. I'm friendly, and I'm like having fun, and I think
personable.
Yeah, I think it's fun to bring that, and so I think my big piece of advice is don't try and create another version of you.
Yeah.
If you can't be the actual version of you at the company you're at, don't be there. Go to a different company, because you will fit somewhere. You just need to find the place you fit.
I really resonate with that. I think early on in my career I did exactly the same thing. Yeah, I did exactly the same thing, and I think I ended up more and more corporate in the way in which I presented myself, and less like me. And I like having white nails. I like
it's a challenge.
Yeah, it is a challenge, and necessarily that probably wouldn't have happened to a man. But I think it's really, really powerful for you to have recognised that, and great friends to turn around and go, hey
what
Sarah,
the hell are you wearing?
What is this? Okay, you can look better, honey.
Yeah, I pick good friends.
I think we are very nearly ready for the big chair swivel. We're going to spin you around and see what you think.
But we could only... Oh, wow. Look at this.
Gorgeous.
Love it. Fantastic.
Well, Sarah, look, this has been a real treat. It's been such an honour to meet you and have a chat with you. Thank you for joining me.
Thanks so much.